Hi everybody, welcome back once again to the Eastfield Gunroom YouTube channel. Before we kick off with today's review, I just want to thank you all once again for liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. If you haven't already done so, please hit like, please hit subscribe because it does help us bring you this fantastic content. Right, on with today. Now, over the last 12 or 13 months, we have brought you some astonishing, astounding, rare collectible shotguns. On occasion, I've said to you openly stuff that I've never seen before. So today we're smashing it out the park. We've got something I've never seen before, rare, collectible and exciting. Look at this. Do not adjust your TV sets. This is a genuine shotgun. It's not something we've built in the shed over the winter. It was actually manufactured for a specific purpose. I've genuinely never had one of these in my hands in almost 30 years. I've seen pictures of them, but I've never physically touched one. So today, we proudly present the Beretta Collection 96. Now, interestingly enough, this is the first time we've actually looked at a 686 on the channel, apart from when we did the comparison with the Silver Pigeon 1 versus the Browning 525. Obviously, the Silver Pigeon 1 is today's incarnation, if you like, of the 686. Cast your mind back, if you can remember that far, to the mid-1990s. We were all walking around in global hypercoloured t-shirts. We all got NAFCO jackets on and Adidas poppers on our trousers, and this was Beretta's idea, I understand, having done a bit of research, to kind of make clay shooting a bit more accessible and to make it a bit more fun, and basically not to make their shotguns look as much like a shotgun. Now, my understanding, having spoken to some people at GMK, good friends at GMK, is that 1995, which is when they produced the first model, this is the 96 version, shooting was becoming a bit more prevalent on the television, and what Beretta wanted to do is they didn't want people to get scared by the fact that a gun looked like a gun, which sounds ridiculous, but obviously not as ridiculous as this. So what they did is they came up with something that looked fun, friendly, and immediately people thought, I like this. And what was even more interesting is that clay shooting grounds in particular cottoned onto this, because what they could do is they could have these as sort of club guns, coaching guns, and from the comfort of the cafe in the middle of the winter, they could see if their guns was out being used by students. So it was actually quite a clever thing to do. Because it was more prevalent on the television, like I said, Beretta wanted it to be a bit more fun. I've actually got an advert here from 1995. So if we have a look here, we've got a genuine advert from 1995, which the guys at GMK very kindly sent me. And it says, something colourful has happened to clay shoot. And now this was the Collection 95. So one of the most incredible things about this is what Beretta had pretty much done is they had developed hydro dipping, if you like. Now, if you move forward into today's world, we've got things being dipped in carbon fibre, dipped in wood. You get it in cars, you get it on certainly air rifles. But this was quite a long time ago now, 1995 initially. And that sort of process wasn't about, if you bought a Rolls Royce in 1995, the wood inside was actual walnuts. It wasn't a piece of plastic that had been, high build primer based and then dipped. So this was an incredible feature for the period. Now, to make things even more incredible, the 95, we just go back to the advert and you can see that the colours on that are even more crazy than the 96. They only made 500, it was a limited edition, and every single gun was completely unique in its design. So not only were they kind of going all out with the innovation of getting this process to hydro dip things, they'd also come up with the idea of making every single gun unique. Now, the particular Collection 95, 500 worldwide pieces, moving on to the 96, and this is the scary thing, probably less than 300. I can't find any information anywhere on the internet to say how many of these guns were manufactured. What I do know is, having spoken to the guys at GMK, because the novelty of the 95 had almost kind of worn off by the time the 96 came out, Beretta were almost kind of flogging a dead horse, if you like. The remaining guns, the guys at GMK, it was Gunmark back in the day, of course, actually threw away all the remaining coloured furniture and put wooden stocks on them to sell the rest of the gun. So that will mean if you come across your Collection 96, if you type it into Google, it will come up with the plain black action, which is a 686 with standard wooden furniture, not this crazy psychedelic multicolour stuff. And that, for me, makes it even rarer. Now, over the years, I've seen photos of a couple of the Collection 95. Never, as like I said, physically had one in my hands. Certainly never seen a 96. I thought, let's get a 95. It'll be great content for the channel. Couldn't find a 95 anywhere. And then I happened to come across a TGS video with Johnny Carter. He was actually at the Holt auction and they had a 96 in trap specification. And I thought, That is mental. Let's get one of those. Now, the way I came across this gun, you wouldn't believe. Normally I have to go far and wide, sometimes, you know, overseas to find some of the guns that we bring to you on the Eastfield Gunroom YouTube channel. I actually came across this gun less than 6 miles from my home, believe it or not. This particular example has got everything we like. Let's take away the side of the crazy paintwork at the minute. It's completely original, it's completely untouched. So let's just have a look at the bare basics of the actual gun of the 686. Essentially, the 686, 680 series action is the basic line from Beretta, has been for a number of years, and you can see by that because it's got a plain black action, no frills, no engraving, nothing like that. And the only thing I can really compare it to that we've previously looked at on the channel is probably the 682 Gold, in that the styling is a little bit similar. So matte finish action, we've got Collection 96 and the Beretta Trident logo on the bottom, P Beretta Guardoni Valtrompia as you would expect. Matte black finish trigger guard, gold trigger. Again, look at the gold on that trigger. This gun, if it's fired 500 cartridge, I'll be very surprised, because essentially what they do when they put a gold trigger together, it's usually just a very thin coating. It's essentially a paint, and it doesn't take a lot of wear of the gun being shot to wear it away. So to look at a gun that's got virtually no wear on the trigger whatsoever is quite an achievement for me in particular. 680 series action, they were all available as we go back to the Collection 95 poster in 30-inch. Obviously the 96 is slightly later than the 95. This gun's actually got 29.5-inch barrels, but on the continent, that tends to be rounded up to 30, if you like. If you look at particularly a Beretta game gun from 20-30 years ago, it could always be marketed as a 30-inch, but it would usually have 29.5-inch tubes, just to confuse you. So matte finish barrels again, engine turning, really well put together. We've got sport in here on the rib, same rib as was on the 682 Gold, which I think is 11mm parallel with a tram line. Again, look at the muzzles. The gun just, there's barely a scratch on it. The issue you have with matte finish barrels or matte finishes on shotguns is, of course, they are susceptible to little scratches, little marks, and this gun just hasn't got anything. Standard red Beretta Foresight bead. Multi-chokes are mobile chokes, which of course is what Beretta's was their staple product for 30-40 years, which are these little badges here, okay? So it come with a set of those. So this gun's got 3-inch chambers, which was quite unusual for a sporting gun of this period. It says quite clear on the barrels there, 2 3/4 and 3-inch chambers. Barrel weights, as we know, the Italians love to stamp those. We have got 1560, okay? And we've also got on the bottom where the serial number is on the lump, we've got the obligatory Italian proof mark square, which denotes when the gun was manufactured, 1996. Now, one thing that really gets my goat, and we do actually have goats here at Eastfield Gunroom, is when I watch other videos and they don't give the information about when a gun was made. It's not difficult. If you've got an Italian gun, go on Google, type in those letters in that square that we're just showing you now. It will tell you when it was made. There are ways to date most manufacturers of shotgun. So get your gun out your cabinet, have a look at the bottom of it or even the serial number, type it into Google and you'll know when it was made. So here we've got 30-inch sporter or 29.5-inch sporter if you want to be picky, right? We'll pop it back together. Again, the top lever, matte finish, little bit of engraving, well over to the right-hand side. Again, says that this gun hasn't been used a lot. And let's face it, I would imagine a lot of these guns were bought because it was an impulse purchase. Oh my God, let's buy that. So when I go out, this is really going to turn heads. Or as Beretta put it themselves, dare to be different. Right, before I'm back on, the gun weighs literally just a smidgen over 8 pounds, which is, if you watch your channel regularly, and 30-inch sporters is my kind of sweet spot requirement if you want a nice weight sporter. And the balance is a tiny bit barrel heavy. In fact, it's ever so slightly just in front of the hinge pin. But remember, this was a base model gun. What they've done is they've taken walnut furniture and dipped it. So there is going to be a slight effect on the balance, but on the whole, feels nice. We've got no palm swell. Okay, well, obviously we're going to move on to the stock. So what we've got is we've got this crazy mixture of blues, reds, yellows. If you haven't seen the TGS video with Johnny where he's got the trap version at Holt, do have a look at it, because you can compare the patterns of the guns just to show that they are all individual and completely unique. Obviously, there's not a lot of checkering because it's been covered up by this, looks like a Zap lolly, if you remember them, they used to get from the ice cream man. You know, there's nothing prominent, but it's not too slippy. You can grip it fairly well. No palm swell. This is right-handed. If you know about Italian shotguns, you'll know that they have a little bit of a degree of cast, so better for right-handed shooters, not really suitable for left-handed shooters. I'm not sure how this would bend if you wanted to, because of course we've got a coating on the top of it. Semi beaver tail style forend, which was again the norm at the time, which is exactly what you would have got. 14 5/8 length of pull, with the old gummy style, quite sticky Beretta recoil pad. Completely original, as I said. Original set of mobile chokes, and that's pretty much it. This gun is just ridiculously rare. The chances of me ever having another one are slim. Remember, they built 500 worldwide of the Collection 95, and most of the ones that came into the UK, or certainly a portion of them, will actually end up being sold with wooden furniture because they were just a bit too crazy. So there you go, folks. That has been the psychedelic, the wacky, the individual, the unique, truly unique Beretta Collection 96 Sporter. A nice little bit of history to go along with it. It is something I never thought I'd get. There's not another review out there, so if you go Googling, you won't find any information about this particular gun. It took me quite a bit of work to get any information whatsoever. If you've got any questions about this particular gun, and I believe there will be many, please contact me directly. Details are on the screen. Don't forget to check out the website. Don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. And from me and this, well, psychedelic badger, I'll see you next time.